again, ladies and gentlemen, to another epic build. This was a rather big undertaking for myself. It was the first build that I have really even attempted landscaping, which is frustrating. I hate the way that you end up with space in between, and nothing seems to go seamlessly together. And then all these different layers, and I had to make sure the Sims could get up them, and I got around it. It's all good. So to avoid the extreme, there's a giant hole here, I put in loads of like balconette areas, kind of like going into it. That's not even I'm not sure that's a word, I do apologise. I make things up as I go along. And then I just made them extra pretty by adding a circular pieces as well. And I didn't like square. I kept looking at this build and it was square, square, square. So I thought, let's add some circles. This build was like in my mind forever. Since the wintry, oh gosh, I forgot the name. I am sorry. It has been a while. But since the snowboarding and stuff came out, I've been wanting to do this build with a cave. Mostly just the rocks are awesome. And the rocks, oh my gosh, don't get me started on the rocks. So I made a little bathhouse cave underneath, almost like it's a little secret area to go explore. However, there is some landscaping issues. I'm going to put it right out there. There are holes, and I do apologise. I tried to fill some of them with plants, and now I have floating plants, and I didn't realise until I was filming the introduction. But it is what happens, and otherwise I think it's a pretty awesome build. So this little cave underneath, it uses rocks and things from BB move objects. No, the debug objects. So that is obviously something to keep in mind. However, I think they are mostly from, oh, I remember the name. It literally just popped to me, the Snowy Escape and the Jungle Adventure Packs. So hopefully it's all good. I did try to keep to a minimal amount of packs, but I just got so creative with it and I kept just going. So with the roofing, it's the idea was to make it look like one roof that goes together, so you have the outer bits that come into a bigger bit, but I was trying to do this over 2 floors. So unfortunately, it's not as seamless as I had hoped, but I mean, considering it's not too bad. With the extra shape that's been put into this build, I did overcomplicate it, especially considering this is the first time that I've, as you can see, there's lots of circle things going on because it's the first time that I would use the circular walls. So it's kind of tried to give it a bit more shape rather than the square. And it does look nice. It looks nice. Well, it wouldn't be on YouTube if I didn't think so. I've tried to make this build so many times, and the landscaping, it's difficult. So in order to do a build with all of this landscaping, you kind of have to treat the first floor right back in the beginning. I made it as a room, and then I made another room on top, and then kind of got rid of the room around it once the landscaping was done, so I still got the correct shape that I needed. And then I used all of the rocks and stuff from BB Move Objects, give it that shape back and try and make it look more cave-like. And then we got the rest of the monstrous landscaping and rocks just being thrown in basically a little later, and that kind of helps with this sort of concept. Ultimately, I kind of went for more of a modern build, almost like it was built on top of the cave and then that was kind of found and discovered later. And obviously, I had to go a little bit crazy. Right now, I couldn't just stick with just having circular rooms. I had to do like an inverted circle right on the top, and it has like a kind of like a porchway effect sort of thing. I don't know. I really wanted to keep this shape and use it for having, what am I trying to say? I do apologise, to show the roofing to go around it, which is what all of this attempt here is, to rechange all of the roofing all over again to try and make it so I could have a rounded roof. That was a bit too much. I found my limits. It had gone too far. as much as it would have been an awesome idea, there's only so far I could take it. So it does have the nice straight roof, it kept the shape, but we kind of got like the bit that leads inside. Unfortunately, this part then meant when it comes to doing the interior that the upstairs, every time I tried to create a room or, you know, like places that seemed logical, very logical, like just make a nice square room, done, sorted. That's not how it went, unfortunately, because the roofing would get in the way and then I'd have a rounded bit sticking out, and you will see in a little bit. But it was craziness. So the floor plan on the top floor, it's a little all over the place, and it was difficult to work with, but I got there, I think. I mean, it's reasonable enough. Anyway, so more landscaping. Landscaping, it was so difficult. I tried so hard to perfect it that I kind of gave up halfway, and I know I shouldn't have, but it got the job done, I guess. So I'm doing all of the rocks from underneath to try and avoid this floating effect that you kind of get with the landscaping. So I go down onto the basement level. So to do this, I created a room. So I had a place to work from to put the actual rocks themselves, or in this case a cave, and then move it up so we didn't have any of this floating effect. And in all honesty, I don't know why I didn't do this with the plants in the exterior decor, but I didn't. It just didn't cross my mind. And so we do have floating parts, as I've already... Whilst I am thinking about the exterior, in the intro videos there is a small outhouse. This I added in gameplay, so it's not included in the video. I do apologise. I thought about it last minute and completely regret not adding it, because it really adds to the look of everything. Personally, I feel like the cute little outside that's down the hill, it also gives perspective of the actual like cliff, hill, rock face area. It's not really a cliff or a hill or a mountainside, it's not quite big enough.
And it represents our renewed commitment to The Sims. And that's what we're doing. We're ushering in a new future for The Sims.
So we're back to the outside again, trying to make it more natural with more plants, and I found this awesome like entranceway, and it didn't quite fit. Done a lot of testing for this area to make sure we didn't necessarily walk right through the walls. I mean, I can only get so good with that, but I mean, I feel like it worked pretty well eventually, with a few different alterations we finally got there. And also for this front part there was ideas of adding rocks, and looking at now, maybe the rocks were the better idea. I didn't like them because you could clearly see they were the same rock repeated again and again and again. I was like, no, we can just add some beautiful foliage, it'll be perfect, it doesn't matter. But I mean, yeah, we've discussed it, we don't need to go there again. But we ended up with this beautiful little cave front, and it is functional, it does work. Your Sims only walk through the cave a little bit, like through the actual scenery part of it anyway, let's say. So I just inspired by this giant rock that I placed here, I decided to add a little extra area, and I believe, I don't know, like, to be honest, it has no real function at this point. I do add in like a little meditation area, which is very cute, especially for this size, but ultimately it just looked like something should be there, so I placed like a little hut type house thing. And we have gone on to this roofing issue. I've already explained it. It was diabolical, and I just had to figure it out as I went along. There's not really much I can say, just watching it makes me cringe at even the idea of having to go through it all over again. And just seeing the roof, I just, honestly, anyway. So, the rooms, they were tiny. Or the placement is just awful. But overall, I mean, the exterior, it's looking pretty good. I went with kind of like a normal cabin look, stone and wood. I kept it very simple and minimalist. And then trying to add in the modern element with all of these windows. These windows, I believe, it's coming to me, guys. It is. Just give me like 10 seconds and it will appear. I can't remember what pack it was from, but they're all basically in the same set, excluding the rounded ones. And off we are to the interior. The inside is all open planned. I added this little extra wall in between a bar area and the kitchen. I'm sorry, guys, there's not really much I can say about the interior. It is very simplistic. I wouldn't necessarily class it as modern, but perhaps it is modern-ish. I don't know. I went with my gut and kept it very, very simple. The whole of this build was all about the outside and how awesome I could make it look. And I don't really put much into the interior. I mean, I loved the idea at this bit of having like a stained glass window in between the two. Kind of like a proper old English pub style that it looked so... I don't know, you know, you have like these little dividers and you're in your restaurant, you have them, and they just look awesome. I thought, you know, it would be really nice to put some windows in here. It didn't work, but it would have been really, really cute with some windows. I also go along and debate using some other objects like tapestries a little bit further on. And I loved the idea with some of them because it looked pretty good. It kind of made it a little bit more vibrant to this very neutral coloured house. So nothing could be more perfect than how the table fits in this rounded room, the other side of the kitchen. Honestly, look at that. It's just so perfect. It honestly blew my mind. I did hold down Alt to adjust the rearrangement a little bit, but honestly, did just one of those things. It just went right. Absolutely beautiful. I can't say much more about it because honestly, even now, it just fits perfect. That is one thing that just worked. Finally. So we're going on to this rest of this huge room, and obviously suddenly, ta-da, there is a beautiful piece de la resistance fireplace. And ultimately, like, this was it, you know, when I see, I've never been personally, but people on like movies and they go to a ski resort, there's always this big beautiful fire with the stone fireplace and it's absolutely gorgeous. Go warm up by it. That was it. That is exactly what I was thinking, and I just honestly, it was just perfect and it just fit really well with the rest of the decor. And I even took that theme right across into this other part, which turns into a study. Very simple, nothing too amazing, but I like to carry through it with it being open plan, the theme the whole way across, which is probably why it looks a little bit boring. But guys, I've said it a million times before, interior design is not my thing, so I do apologise. I thought about it a lot, but whether it works or not, that's another thing. So we're moving on to the bathroom, and because I can, we added a little platform for the bathtub, like a bathtub throne, almost like, and it's got the stones around it. Very chilled out bathroom, to be honest. And if anybody has spotted my mistake by now, then well done, because I done all of this to the dread of realising there are no stairs. Like, I've even gone onto the second floor and I've been like, oh no, where do I put the stairs? You see, I'm starting to figure it out now. How? Because it was so perfect. I'm just going to have to like teleport everybody upstairs because I couldn't figure out where to put them. I ended up squeezing them in the little sort of hallway area where the bathroom is. And it does work. It's very, it doesn't look like it's meant to be there, but it was honestly, it was the easiest place to put it without putting it like directly across doors. It just, honestly, I don't think I've ever done this before. In the history of building, have I ever forgotten the stairs? I don't know where my head was at. So we've got a couple of bedrooms. I think I've edited this. Hello, is that a word? Edited it in the wrong order. So we've actually moved on to a children's bedroom. You can see an adult bedroom behind it. I mean, it happens. I'm not the best at editing, and as my YouTube says, it's something like epic build, mediocre editing and filming and everything else. I mean, it's something along those lines. I wrote it once and I never looked back. I do apologise. Another room, and I went all crazy with the new styles with the high school pack. That's the one. If you can probably hear the hesitation in my voice. And so that was this room themed with just that. I just tried to shove it all in one and hope for the best. And I mean, yeah. And there is also a tiny little bathroom that I managed to squeeze in as well. Considering how awkward these rooms are, I'm pretty impressed with how I managed to locate and organise everything. I mean, even now, I hate the upstairs, but I did what I could, and I even decorated it. Look at that, we've got some carpets. Anyway, lovelies, we are closing up, and I am rambling, so it's probably best to get a wiggle on. You guys are amazing. Honestly, I'm sorry that there's few and far between like videos. I do what I can as I can when I can, and I find it embarrassing talking and my partner's sitting next to me. I mean, I gotta wait for him to be out of the house. You guys are amazing, and remember, just be kind to each other and love people. It gets you so much further anywhere, everywhere in life. So thank you for your support. You're amazing. Keep up the good work at being good people.